You just ignore them. Why don't you go to the government and demand that the will of the people be enforced and no more mass migration if you're such a big believer in democracy?
I mean, we had a general election about a year and a half ago to sort of change things. But again, immigration isn't the issue. I'd argue, and I think you'd probably agree with me, that it's perhaps the top 1%, the owning class who is just, again, with tax loopholes, taking so much money from services. And that's why wages are stagnating, because they, quite frankly, if we even look at AI as well, jobs of the people are working, and the people you care so much about, those working class people, are being taken away. They're being, replaced, and it's nothing to do with immigrants. That's not the issue. Again, if the owning class was willing to pay more in taxes and contribute to improving the state, then perhaps it'll be better. So I don't like this focus on immigrants, and this it's sort of it's very divisive.
I just noticed that you didn't actually answer my question, but that's fine. I'm going to let you go back with.
Yeah. So if I may, and I think it's a salient point, like most polling suggests like around 65 to 67% think that mass migration is far too high in the United Kingdom. And it's one of the big reasons Labour would get crushed if there was an election right now. And even the Tories, people are moving away. They want reform because they're tired of this. On the DEI thing specifically, I'll be brief on this. It is not true that it's just about giving opportunities. Name me the opportunity in the United States or the United Kingdom that, for example, a black woman can't apply to be an airplane pilot. In the past 30 years, what were the laws, the restrictions, whatever, that prohibited a black woman from doing that?
Again, this is another fallacy I see. You guys try and focus on, oh, well, it's not written in paper that it discriminates against this color of people, that they can't go in. But you need to remember that, social movements kind of take time to catch up with laws that are written down. So just because a law is written down that says, oh, this person isn't discriminated against, for example, the Civil Rights Act, doesn't mean it happens immediately. So there's still bias in individuals. Just because the system might not be discriminatory doesn't mean the individuals who make up that system don't hold those views, which is exactly why we need to implement things like DEI to make sure that everyone gets a fair opportunity. That's fundamentally it.
Okay, so what's that look like? Let's say that I own an airline, right? And it so happens that 90% of my pilots are YT men, right? And what would you then have the government do to change that?
If there are two people who are perhaps equally qualified, for example, if one's of a certain color, another one's white, one's black, or one's a woman and another one's a man, I'd advocate for the minority group, which would in many cases be a woman or a black person or someone of a certain sexuality. I'd advocate to have them come in other than the person who is for example, the white team man, because we need diversity. Diversity is good, and we need to give opportunities to these people. It doesn't mean they're not qualified. It just means that we're giving an opportunity to make it more diverse. I don't know why diversity is such an issue to you. Like, why does that?
It's not an issue to me. It's an issue to you and people that share your worldview. They repeat this mantra that diversity is our strength, which is abject nonsense. If I'm someone who's flying, I want the pilot to be the most qualified person. Now, you say equally qualified, but there's almost never two people that are exactly equally qualified. And the devil's going to be in the details here. What you just suggested is that the government should force private employers to hire people based on race. Equal opportunity. It's not about equality of opportunity. It's about equality of outcome, which is equity. And that in itself is horribly, what's the word I could use? Bigoted.
I think the issue here, especially with you guys' worldview, is that you're looking for equality now in a nation that has never been equal. It's always been unequal from the start. Especially black people were. I want to be careful.
Say BLK. Say BLK.
Sorry, BLK people were. Second underclass citizens. Let's just say women as well were second-class citizens. There's a lot of discrimination that has been the history of the US. So I don't know why. It's just funny how you forget all of that and act like, oh, this isn't fair. They're just mistreating us. Your whole nation has been unfair towards people of color and women and other people of sexualities as well. It's been unfair the whole time. So why is it when they're finally getting a leg up for equal opportunity and equal access to the opportunities that are available, you start complaining? Of course, unfortunately, in a country with a history of discrimination, there's going to need to be some positive discrimination, which is the term for it, to enable them to have opportunities as well. That's just the reality of it.
And I appreciate the admission. Positive discrimination. You euphemism for just discrimination, which is exactly what you're talking about. And so much of this movement is just anger and revenge against YT people, or against Christians, or against men. That's exactly what's going on here. For example, we can see in the United States nearly 60% of people that obtain graduate degrees are women.